Hey folks, welcome to Black Gumbo. I've got these seedlings. We're going to pot them up today. Today I have these cabbages, and I've got several different kinds, and they're getting too big for their little cell here. And so before we put them out in the garden, we have to give them a little bit more of a head start than this. I have to harden them off. They've been living inside a nice controlled environment under lights, and so over the next week or two I'm going to be hardening these off, but I'm also going to pot them up into cups so that they can grow a bigger root system and get a better head start. That necessarily means that I'll have to cull some of them out because I don't have room. Once you take these little cells and you put them in a big pot, I don't have room for them all, and so some of them will stay in their cells, some of them will get up potted, and some of them may become compost. But yeah, now that's the thing. You know, you grow your own seeds, you grow far more than you need, and so you can come in here and you can select the best plant. And so that's what we're going to do. These cabbage plants are about the size you want to start thinking about up potting, because their roots are going to be all balled up in that little cell, and there's not enough room in that cell to really promote vigorous further growth. You see that this guy is really looking like he's ready to be up potted. Now I've potted my seedlings into cups, I've put them into yogurt containers, I've put them into all manner of containers to pot them up. And so this time I'm going to use these styrofoam cups because they're cheap, they're easy to deal with, and I can get more of them into my little trays that I put them in than I can with a yogurt cup. And I really want to give these a nice deep soil bed to get their roots going, and I can write directly on here instead of having to use labels. So the benefit of these is they're reusable. They're styrofoam. They'll last you a long time. Styrofoam is basically a aerated plastic. It's a foam version of plastic, and so it'll last you a long time. They do begin to degrade after a while, but for now I like styrofoam. So what I'm going to do, you need some drain holes in the bottom, so I'm just going to take a screwdriver, and I've stacked 4 of them together so I can get this done all at once. And I just punch a set of 3 holes in each cup, just like that. And that leaves me with drain holes in all of the cups in this stack, and so I can get a lot of them done. Now I'm over here at my really fancy potting station, which is the bed of my truck. I'm using this basic potting soil. This is essentially peat moss, and there's some humus in there, some compost. It's kind of light stuff in terms of its friability, lots of organic material. It's not the same as topsoil. You want to get something that is pretty lightweight, drains well, and has a lot of organic material in there. Potting soil, not topsoil, not garden soil, just a basic potting mix. Don't forget to label your plant. It's easy to forget what you've got. And this is, you will note, highly stressful on the plant. Look at that root system. This is why we want to up pot, because these roots are circling, it's getting root bound, and you need to get it in a larger pot. Alright, well, let's get it going. The way I do it is fill the pot mostly up, make a little hole about the size of the cell, and I drop that cell right in there, press it down in there, and then I'm going to put some more soil around the stem of my cabbage plant, just to top it off a bit. There we go. That is our first up potted cabbage. Now this potting soil is actually pretty moist, but you want to just give it a little bit of water. Water it in slightly. And again, don't forget to label your cabbage. When you run into a case where you find 2 plants in one, it means that you missed when you were thinning. So these are 2 good looking plants. This one's really nice looking and strong. I'm going to just pinch that other one off, and that will become compost. All the rest of my seedlings, I'll keep them in the small trays in case I need a backup, but I'm going to thin the weakest ones out and consolidate these little trays. Like this guy's going to go, this guy will go, and I'll keep these 2, and then I'll fill the rest of the cells with some of those others. That way I'll have some backups if something catastrophic happens. So these guys I can just pull out of there, and I will drop them with my other culls. Now these guys have been in the sunlight now for about 10 minutes as I've been working here. And that's all the sunlight they're going to get today, because like you and me, if we stay out in the sun too long, we can get burned. These plants have not experienced sunlight. They have been in the house all this time in the nice controlled temperatures, the nice no wind area, and they've been under the lights that are not as intense as that sun. And so for these guys, the hardening off process has begun, and I'll only give them 10 minutes of sun today before we bring them back inside. So there's my Hilton cabbages, my Chinese cabbage. I'll probably do one more to fill that spot, and that's all I'm doing. And the rest of these are surplus. There's our tray of up-potted cabbage. This will go into the garden soon, and we'll be eating fine this winter. I also have this tray of red cabbage, and I've got 2 heading cabbages here, traditional heading cabbages, that we're going to pot some of these up as well. I don't have as many of these, so I'm gonna have to select some that I would normally let pass by, but we don't need a whole ton of this stuff. They're looking real healthy. Well, that's really all there is to potting up some seedlings. Alright, well that's how we take care of our seedlings and pot them up. You can see that it's really easy. And what it does is it gives you the opportunity to grow what you want to grow. You're not constrained by what they have down at the big box store. You're not constrained by the Bonnie plant selection, which you only get, a couple of varieties. You can grow what you want to grow, and you can start your seeds and seed trays indoors when it's hot outside for the fall garden, or when it's still cold outside in the spring. You can plant indoors, and then as they grow, you can pot them up like this, and you see how easy it is. The next step is just to harden them off, get them weather toughened, and then the next step is to plant them in the garden. Thanks for joining us on Black Gumbo Southern Gardening. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, we'd really appreciate a subscription. It helps us out a lot. It encourages us to make more videos. So we'll talk to you next time, and happy gardening. Bye-bye.